My name is Ma'at Akhat Atumre. I'm currently a student teacher of our master teacher, known as Dr. Malachi New York, also known to us today as Pt.1.mp4. I will do my best today to answer any of questions that you all may have.
All right. Well, this question is referencing an old CD
To what?
that Reverend Dr. Malachi New York was speaking on. All right. What he was referencing at the point in time was that the cell phones are tuned to 800
Megahertz. Yes.
If I remember correctly. All right. And what he had also said, if I remember correctly, was that the brains of Negroids are tuned to 900 megahertz.
That's correct.
All right. Now, in light of today's, in light of the doctrine that we're getting today, and as much as the different things that can have someone almost at the flip of a switch become a zombie, how does that, how would that affect us in as much as the cell phones affecting our brains in some kind of way that would make it easier for us to become susceptible to becoming, for lack of a better word, a zombie?
Okay. I think I understand your question. The very first thing I will address before I go into your answer is, for the sake of everyone else, realize that everything affects you. Everything you touch, everything you see, everything you read, everything you listen to has an effect on you. You know, like he explained in one of the patarats, which means our way, he expressed that everything you listen to and everything you see becomes a part of your actions. Everything that you eat becomes a part of your DNA. You are what you take in. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that years ago, way back in, since early 90s, with that tape, I came to right the wrong. He expressed in that how music has an effect on us. First thing you have to realize is within the human brain, you have what's called magnetic particles. In 1993, scientists put an article, which is very brief, expressing what that is. For people to understand what magnetic particles are, certain species of animals on the planet has magnetic particles. You have bacteria that have magnetic particles. You have the fish in the ocean, and you also have the birds that fly that have magnetic particles in their brain. And that allows them to move very easily through the grid of the planet. And at first, they were saying human beings do not have magnetic particles. But as of recently, since 1993, right, and of course, Pt.1.mp4 gave this information way back, right, they're really just catching on. He's explaining how in human beings you have magnetic particles, which means that electromagnetic energies do affect you. So all those towers that they used to erect in our neighborhoods that we used to say, you know, cause some kind of brain cancer, in actuality, they do. They used to say, oh, it doesn't, it's just a myth, it's an urban legend, don't worry about it. But in actuality, they do. Why? Because we have these magnetic particles in our brain. And the fact is, they don't understand why or the function of them. Excuse me. But Pt.1.mp4 also expressed in that tape that those magnetic particles deal with your ether. You know what I'm saying? As Nagaru or Negroids, we are considered non-ether beings, meaning that our capacity reaches, while physical, up to the 9th level in ether, which is sustenance. You understand? And it does have an effect on our brain. Now, these cell phones are tuned to a certain frequency. And before I go into that, understand what frequency is. Frequency deals with how frequent a wave moves. So frequency is the measurement of how frequent a wave moves. So 800 megahertz is just as how fast that frequency moves or oscillates, right? But our brains are tuned to 900 megahertz. So that means that this does have an effect on our brain. And most importantly, so does music. First thing you have to realize is everything is vibration, no matter how solid they are or how airy they are. Solid, liquid, and gases in this physical reality is all vibrating at different frequency or different patterns. You understand? So music or what you listen to does have an effect on you. How do you know that? All you have to do is spend some time around some people and see how they act when they're around music. Music has an emotional effect on all of us, especially people who are high in melanin and high in ether, as Negroes, as we are. You understand? That's the first thing you have to realize. So it's no coincidence that they invented something called a cell phone. What exactly is a cell phone? Those words. What do you hear?
Cellular.
Cellular. Exactly. So we know everything vibrates down beyond the cellular level. You understand? So how can one take control of your cells? They have to know your frequency or your number. Because each individual here has their own frequency that they vibrate to. You understand? And at one point in time, as has been expressed also in that, I came to right the wrong, we've moved away from being attuned to our soul. How do you know that? In Africa, what drums are most prevalent or used the most? Somebody, whoa, yell it out. Give people a check. What drums, anybody know here? What drums is mostly used in Africa?
Congo.
What is a Congo?
Congo drums?
Drum is also called the heartbeat. It's our heartbeat or our rhythm, right? So when we were in ancient Africa, still do today, we were vibrating to the attunement of the heartbeat or the drum. We even communicated village to village with the drum beat. You know, you have something called the talking drum. That's one kind of drum. You have the djembe, you have the Congo, you know what I'm saying? You have the duff, which is used in Sudan and in Nubia. So naturally, as Nubian, we are attuned to a certain rhythm as the drum, which deals with bass. This is why the bass stands out the most in our music, right? So you have to understand what happened. When we were captured or kidnapped and brought here, not put in slavery, because as Pan-Babyanun expressed, the word slavery deals with Slavics, and we are not Slavics. They like to say the word slave trade, but that happened at a particular point in history. But that's not the result of all of us being here for 400 years. So most of us were kidnapped and brought here. That's the first thing we have to understand, right? And when we were brought here, like he expressed on that tape, we became quite depressed. And naturally, right, our depression became a part of our music. And that's where the blues came in. They say you got the blues when you're sad. You know what I'm saying? So it moved into the blues because we were quite depressed. We were being oppressed, depressed, suppressed. You name it, it was done to us. You understand? And from there, it became rhythm and blues. So it started to change. You know, it became more rhythmic. Eventually, because they know, and what do they call us before I go there? They call us soul people. We have soul music. So why does the soul identify with music? Anybody can answer that? Anybody can answer that. Why is the soul, why do they attribute soul to music?
Feeling.
Exactly. Exactly. You have a feeling to it. And the soul is linked to your emotions. Because you're moved emotionally by music. And your emotion is linked to your soul. That's the divine you, or the divine principle. You know what I'm saying? So from there, you know, we have a certain type of rhythm. So the concentration was to bring you from 9 down to what they call monotone when deal with music or sound. And they use music to do that, to bring our vibration down. They have to step into music, take us off our rhythm, and put us on their own rhythm. And that took quite some time and quite some thinking to do that. That's why music became a music industry. An industry is a business or something that you manufacture. So what exactly are they manufacturing in this music industry? Synthetic, exactly. Synthetic rhythm, synthetic mood synthesizers, which was introduced in the 80s or in the 70s, 70s or 80s, 70s. They took us from acoustics into synthetic instruments. Everything is dealing with electronics to the point where people don't even play instruments no more. And when you play instruments, you can feel it. You create music when you use an instrument, be it a drum, be it a guitar, be it a duff, you name it. You're making music. You're putting your soul into that instrument. Nowadays, it's just a button. Everything's been synthesized. So what do you do when you do that? You create something artificial. You're no longer moving by something natural. And things that are natural deals with your soul. And it deals with nature. So the reality is this, going back to your point, right? We are vibrating. Every cell, every thought, every spirit is vibration. Every rock has vibration. Water has vibration. Air has vibration. And you most definitely are vibrating on a certain frequency, right? So the thing is to knock you off your frequency. Because if you're vibrating on 9, as 9 ether, right? And they are vibrating on 6, and they cannot reach you because of their vibrations, they must pull you down to vibrate on their level. This is why in music, right, most Nubians or black folks are not producing anymore. They've conformed to rock and roll. You see it. There's no longer soul in music, even to the point of how they articulate words. It doesn't exist anymore. So in a sense, you become a zombie for that kind of music. You're just moving and you're just swaying to whatever you hear. It's about what's the hottest, what's the latest. Nobody's paying attention to what they're saying, but more so because he's making a little more money, because he's more appealing in this particular industry, right, that they're promoting to destroy the youth, because that's what they're after, to keep them from thinking or becoming deity. You understand? To keep you in a zombie-like state through music. And it's real. Because if you look at the intellect of the Nubian, here in America, from the time of when we used to stand up in the 60s, I'm not that old by the way, right? In the 60s, up until today, it has dramatically been reduced. Did you know that most inventions that was created by Negroes or black folks was made in the 1800s? How many of y'all even knew that? Simple things like the iron, I mean, you name it. We invented. Over 200 inventions came out in the 1800s to the early 1900s. All invented by Nubian people. Things that we take for granted. From shoelaces, to t-shirts, to an iron board, to, you name it. Simple things, you know what I'm saying? We've done. So we were most creative during that time. So something had to be done. Because no matter what situation we was put in, what happens? We overcame these situations. Right? That shows you our strength, which is linked to our soul. But I hope that was helpful for you, bro.
I was. Real quick, I got two more things you touched on. I just want to get it. All right. Dealing with the instruments. I can't remember if it was a man from Riz's book, or even if it was in a book. Dr. York touched on that the instruments, the tones of the instruments have been changed, right? And I think I heard him on tape say one time that if your non-magnetic particles were damaged, you would feel like a sharp pain on the side of your neck, like from listening to too much music or whatnot.
Yeah, if I don't believe he said on the left side of your left side. Right.
All right.
Oh, that was your question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if I was, if I heard it right.
Okay. Right. Exactly. That deals with that. Can I repeat what?
All right. I had heard, could have been in a lecture or somebody was speaking that Dr. York said whenever your non-magnetic particles are damaged, like you listen to music too loud, it's like riding down the car with the music bumping and all that stuff. Whenever your non-magnetic particles are damaged, you'll feel a sharp pain inside of it. So,
that's on the other side.
yeah.
And I'm going to read something from a book. It's a Patarak, or Mayatat's, called Tone, Sound, Vibration, DNA Molecules. You know what? Let me say the proper one. The name of it is Tone, Sound, DNA Molecules, Vibrational Frequency, Universe, Earth, F sharp, and Harmonics. So all that deals with frequency and deals with you. If anybody have any questions, because I know I could be going very fast on this particular topic. If anybody has a difficult time understanding these different things, for the sake of everybody learning, feel free to ask any questions. But I'm going to read something from it real quick. This is on verse 22. Okay. We ancient ones knew the correlations between harmonics, stones, and planet Earth. Does anybody here know what harmonics is?
Harmonics deals with sound.
That deals with sounds, harmony, harmonics. So it deals with things that vibrate, harmonics.
Right.
Right? Stones, the planet Earth, and electromagnetism, unison. Unison is coming together in union.
One.
Exactly, becoming one. So you have unison and you have harmony. Harmony is bringing the collective of tones together to create harmony that is interpreted as music to you. So when you hear a certain type of rhythm, that's harmony. Unison is all of the same notes vibrating on the same time. That's unison. But let me go ahead and read this. Planet Earth, electromagnetism, unison or agreeing tones on same pitch to become one. The mathematics of frequency occurring in the planets, Earth, and other cycles are in tune. That means everything on this planet, whether it be a tree, whether it be mountains, whether it be rocks, whether it be a lion, right? Whether it be the oceans, everything is harmonically attuned to a certain vibration. Everything on the planet Earth. And also, at a basic level, your physical body understands this, and in the right state of mind or trance, state opens up the mental abode. And this ties into what that brother is speaking about. How when you're in a certain vibration, whether it be through meditation, or through chanting, or through prayer, right? You're now vibrating on a certain frequency, and it opens up the mind. This, and in the right state of mind, or trance state, opens up the mental abode. Pa-tanim chayu, or seed of caucasoids, want all to speak on their tone. And how many of you all bear witness to that? The Caucasians. How many of us Nubians speak on their tones? Besides, we know we speak on English, which is a tone of theirs. But literally, try to speak like them.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, you see it a lot. Like, I struggle just doing that, you know, but people do it quite naturally, and it's becoming the voice. Let me go on. Listen to how they speak, not from the solar plex, yet from the nose to affect your nose. Gay, the bunch of sweet smelling flowers, a symbol of what you breathe in and how smell affects your whole being. So they wish all to talk as they do, and this is nosology, science of diseases. And let me stop right there. How you breathe affects your health. Literally. People who have bad posture, right? He's straight up. It's all good. We all have to do it. But people who have bad posture don't realize that they literally cut off 20% of oxygen going into their body, which is very effective for your health. Not only the oxygen, but also the ether, which affects your nervous system, which is essential for brain function. You understand? So breathing, or the science of nosology, is very important. Caucasians, because they have a closed nose, they can't breathe properly. Not like we do. We got some wide noses, don't we?
Yeah.
Especially you. All right. Or he is a nosologist, or nostalgia, house of sickness by the nostril. Now stop and listen to how they speak. Listen to where the sound is vibrating from, their nose or snout, and or mane. And if you look up leprosy or Hansen's disease of lepers and how it affects the nose and breathing. And then you could go to Leviticus chapter 13 in their Bible, how leprosy affects the skin, tone, hair, texture. Now I'm going to stop right there. Anybody else have a question?
I got some basic questions that I'm trying to really get some understanding to.
Sure thing, brother.
God and the devil.
Okay.
I want to know who God is, and I want to know who the devil is.
You said who God is?
Who God is and who the devil is.
Okay. For me to answer that question, we have to first address who God isn't, right? And the first thing you have to understand about the word God, I'm going to start with the word, right? A long time ago, Dr. Malachi New York wrote a book called God Misinterpreted. Actually, there's a whole series of God series. God Misinterpreted, Who is God? God, 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 what is the difference? Is there a God? Does God need love? Does God need religion? is religion, ignorance, and you could definitely check with the sister back there to look some of these books.
God win.
Yeah, that also. Now the first thing you have to realize is the word God itself, right? The meaning that was given to it is anyone or anything in control. That's the definition of God. But when you trace the root of the word God, right, it has its origin in the German origin, from the word gut. And please don't believe me, brother, look this up yourself. The word gut, right, translates to mean good. Now if you take that word, G-O-O-D, how do you get the word God out of that? That's right, take out an O, and you get the word God. Also, brother, if you look at the word God in dyslexia, what word do you get? Meaning, if you reverse the letters, you get the word dog. Exactly. You get the word dog. And dog, as we have a habit of calling each other, yo dog, what's up dog, right, is really something that was given to us also by the Caucasian, the same people who came and brought us here from Africa and gave us their religion called Christianity, right? And their fascination or love for the canine or the dog, right? And there's a whole book called The Dog also that shows you how they are spiritually attuned to the dog, but that's a whole other topic. So the word God itself came from that particular origin, from German. Now, when you go to the Hebrew, from which the Bible was translated from, right? Hebrew from Aramaic, you get the word, I'll put it this way, just to make it a little easier. Because I have the Bible right here with me. I'm going to read the very first chapter, not first chapter, the very first verse of this particular Bible. Chapter 1 of Genesis. And the word Genesis is the word Barashit, which means reconstruction in the Hebrew. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And I'm going to stop right there. When you look up the Hebrew, when you get a Hebrew and Greek lexicon, and you look up the word God there, you get number 430 in the Strong Concordance. And the word there is Elohim, right? The word Elohim, whenever you look it up, you'll realize that it's not a singular form or monoform, it's a multiform or more than one. The word Elohim translates as judges, rulers, these beings, or gods. And how you know that is because when you jump further into the Bible, when you see the word G-O-D-S, right, you find the same exact word, Elohim, which literally means these beings, right? Now, when you trace that word even further back, because the more you start to research, you start to see that everything has its roots. The concept of God that was attributed to the Hebrews came from the ancient Sumerians. The word there was Anunnaki, right? And if my brother here could spell it out on the board, Anunnaki. Also, if you could spell the word Elohim, and yes. And the word Anunnaki literally means these beings who are sent down by way of Anu to Ki, right? And the word Ki is the ancient word for saying the planet Earth. I know I'm giving you a lot right now, right? But we have so much literature on this topic, and the question that you just asked me is so broad, right? I'm glad you said it's a basic question, but it's a lot to it. So I'm trying to fast forward into it. So you have the word Anunnaki that was given to the beings that lived in Sumer, which is a particular part of the planet that was near Africa, what's considered the Middle East today, or Iraq, right? Well, now, when you go into Africa, into the ancient Egyptians, who are our ancestors, you find the word Nataru, right? And it has a completely different meaning also. But we know that it was a group of beings. So it goes back to a group and not a singular. So that's the first point that I need to make when we deal with the word God, right? Now, the term devil, the word devil itself means liar in wait. And the first time the word devil was brought up was also in Genesis, and you'll find the Hebrew word sa'ir. And the word sa'ir literally means a hairy thing or hairy creature. Now the reason why that term sa'ir was given to the word devil, the term sa'ir was given to that because it was a tradition for the children of Israel, right, that to remove all the sins from their tribe, they would take a goat and put all the evil spirits into the goat and literally throw it off over a cliff. And that's where that came in. But that's the first time the word devil came in, which is also an English word, sa'ir, which literally means hairy. Then you have other attributes that was also given to the word devil. You have Satan, right? You have shaitan, which means a thing of clay, right? You have the bright and morning star. And then you'll find even older names given to the word devil also. The fact is, this right here, and you'll learn this as you go into degrees of learning, is just a book that was given to us, and we were told to have faith in this, to believe in this, right? It's undisputable. You must believe, you must not question, you must obey this. But the thing is, brother, as Nubians or black folks, we have an inquisitive mind. We are always searching for the truth. That's the soul in us. It's always seeking for answers. You understand? It will never be satisfied because it comes from a higher source. It's like being contained in a cage, like a bird being contained in a cage. The nature of the bird is to fly free in the sky. That's also likened to the soul. You understand? So I hope that was enough for now. I would say this, brother. We have so many, like I said earlier, we have a lot of literature on it. We have, like I said, the whole God series. Where and What is Hell is a very good book for you to read also, because it really goes into it and gives you a lot of information that can really help you out with that. All right, with that answer, I'm going to switch back the class over to my good brother, Wu-Sabat.
Hatep. Any other questions? So, I'm Atum Hutep Imre Atumreye.
Where did that word ego come from? When you put on board, what does it mean?
Elohim means these beings.
I got it.
Like, earlier when my brother was talking about the God concept, which is, it's not as deep as you think. You got to remember that as Africans, we were given a new perspective, a new vision, an angle on what you call the God concept. Because a lot of us were born and raised as Muslims, a lot of us were born and raised as Christians, a lot of us were born and raised as Jewish or Hebrew Israelites. And what happened is that we've been here for almost 400 years, even more. Some of us have been here longer. But on a majority level, a lot of us have been here about that amount of time. And you got to remember that as an African in America, and the reason why I don't say African America, because you're not really considered American, because not too long ago when Martin Luther King was assassinated, you didn't have no rights. You couldn't sit in front of the bus, you couldn't eat in certain restaurants. You know what I'm saying? It was for whites only. Anybody remember that? You know what I'm saying? So basically, you wasn't really considered American with citizenship. You know what I'm saying? You were just a worker who just happened to have extra privileges. You know what I'm saying? As you got free from slavery. So what happened is, for the last so-called millenniums or centuries, we've been given a version of our story from somebody else, and it works for them. Meaning that somebody said, okay, if I keep doing this, I'll be successful. And they keep doing it, but they have to do certain things in order for them to be successful. But when they give it to you, you be like, this doesn't work for me because I can't relate to it. You feel me? But why is it that when he does it, it works, but when I do it, it don't work? But then you start realizing the only way it will actually work for me, I'll have to act like that person. The reason why black people in America or Africans in America are unsuccessful in America because we don't act like the enemy or the person that oppressed you. And then you wonder why we're not successful. If you look at a lot of black people that's really successful, they literally had to change the matrix of their DNA, the way they think, the way they act, the way they talk, in order to be successful here in America, because they act just like a European. You feel me? So what happened is you took on their God concept, because your concept of God is an all-loving God who sits in heaven and judges you. Said you can't do this, you can't do that, but turn around and tell you to do it when he wants you to do it. He said, you should not kill nobody, but God can kill you. Then God said, hey, since you were so loyal to me, I'm going to give you the land of Canaan, of milk and honey. And I'm going to bless you and your descendants, right? You remember that story, right? Then when you get to Canaan, there was already somebody living there. As I said, you can have that condo. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? But then you go to the condo, you realize somebody lived there. So you're like, wait a minute, God gave me the condo, but somebody's in it. So you be like, look, dog, you got to grow. This is my spot. You're saying, I don't care if you got a lease. You got to leave, right? So what happened? God will say, well, kill them, you can have it. So you're going to kill the people in the condo so you can get the condo? Do that make sense to anybody? Huh? So why would God tell Abraham, you can have this land. This is the land that everybody's face off. It's called Lebanon, Israel. You know what I'm saying? Labina, which you get the word Canaan from, you know what I'm saying, in the original Hebrew, right? Now, which means milky white or white. You hear me? So God said you can have this land. But then when you get there, you kill all the Canaanites that lived in the land. Then you're blessed. Yes, God loves me. The next you know, you get hit with a famine.
Right.
So God said, look, go to Egypt for my pagan children that worship idols and sons and all type of stuff, right? And go there and eat for them. That's like me saying, look, I'm starving, I'm hungry, I'm in the church, and the pastor said, look, there's no food in the church. So what I suggest you do, you go to the house of Satan. You hear me? Get you some barbecue. You feel me? You might get a little human biscuit or something. You hear me? But, you know, go over there and eat. Because I can't feed you. Now, this is the God concept that you were taught, right? But then when you leave Egypt, all of a sudden God can feed you. You complain about, God, we're hungry, we need to go back to Egypt. No, I don't want you to go back to Egypt. So what I do is I give you mushroom. You call it manna. And I let it rain from the sky. And you eat, first of all, it's running from the sky, it's in the ground. It's like somebody threw some crumbs, here you go, here's the crumbs, and then you pick it up the ground and eat it for 40 years. So why couldn't he feed them before they went to Egypt? If they were starving. You see the trick? But this is the mentality that they teach you to God. He's a jealous God. You get jealous. Who don't get jealous in here, right? And jealousy stirs up what? Anger. And anger gets into what? Violence. You know that fine chick, it took you 8 months to take out on a date, break it down. I need to be with this chick. I don't care what I gotta do. I'll pawn my mom's car. You know what I'm saying? You know, whatever you gotta do, you was trying to get this chick, right? You finally get her. The next thing you know, she's looking at some other dude, you start getting jealous, you're like, oh, I'll beat that dude up. You try to talk to my girl. You hear me? So you be like, I'll smash that dude. You don't know, I don't care, nigga, I invested in that.
Right.
You hear me? I got a human note on that. You hear me? So what happened is, this guy get jealous. And he said, I should kill you if you worship any other God. But if you're the Almighty God, how can you get jealous of your own creation?
Right.
This is what you were taught as an African in America practicing white Christianity. It don't make no sense. And you know it don't make no sense because you question it as a child. Now people say childs don't know nothing, but childs are not stupid. Like how does Santa Claus give out 5 billion presents at 12 o'clock in 1 minute? He went down a lot of children. How much cookies and milk can he drink?
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
How does a rabbit lay eggs and they don't lay eggs? This is the question the children will ask you. And you're like, well, you know, God. This is what you put it. Well, God only knows that. The children are like, who's God? Oh, he's the person that made everything that you had possible. Well, I saw you pay for it.
Right.
I don't see no God. When I'm hungry, Mama give me something to eat. If I want clothes, Daddy give me some clothes to get. If I want something, you know, this is the reality. See, the children deal with facts. Because this is what they have been bred. When a baby cries, they need milk. And everyone knows who had children know either is milk, to change the diaper, or attention. The baby knows this. But then, you know, when they get older, you start lying to your own children and perpetuating the same lie over and over again that's been passed down for so many generations. You feel me? This is the God concept. And now you're telling the lies to your children. Your children are like, you're a liar. And then when you get older, you really know why they don't want to listen to you. Like, you, and that stuff comes to mind, I don't trust you. Why should I listen to you? You've told me this. And then later on, when I get older, I realize there's no Santa Claus. Thanksgiving was a massacre. Rabbits don't lay eggs. You feel me? And we worship psychopathic killers on a certain holiday and dress like them. You feel me? Witches and demons and stuff like that for candy. You feel me? But we're going to church the next day.
Right.
To worship Jesus, but I was walking, I was dressed as Lucifer the day before that. You feel me? And then the children, then you tell the children like, well, you know, you need to stop hanging out with those disagreeable people. But you showed me how to be disagreeable once a year. You need to stop eating people food like a bum, but you showed me that at Thanksgiving once a year. You need to stop giving all your money to all these hoes, but you told me that once a year to give gifts to people. You feel me? So the children looking at you like, yo, I'm confused. And this is what the God, but listen, this is the same thing God does. Shall not kill, but kill them for use my name in vain. You hear me? Shall not do this. Yeah, but steal their land. Don't steal. Yeah, but you can steal their land. Kill them. No, not only do you kill them, then you take their land. Kill all the men and take the women and children. You hear me? This is the God. Oh, I want to smell something. I need you to bedazzle me. Take your son, take him up to the mountain, offer him a sacrifice so I can smell his dead flesh. Cooking. Huh? The barbecue. Did God tell Abraham to do that to Isaac? And people say, well, that was symbolic. Okay, then what about Jesus? No, Jesus was real. Oh, so it's about the blood then. Yes, it was. It's about the blood. I wash myself in the blood of the Lamb. You hear me? Eat of my flesh and drink of my blood, and you shall get eternal life. That sounds like Satanism, don't it? Drink of the blood, eat of the flesh, and we shall be praised by the prince of darkness. And then you notice how they use the word darkness. But we're the darkness. So actuality, the black man is the devil to the white man. Because everything that is good is bad and bad is good. So the whole thing is a God concept of your God that you're so-called worshiping is a wimp. He has no foundation. I mean, look at the stuff he does. What type of guy gets mad? Like, you know, why you won't worship me? You hear me? Why would you worship this guy? I created you. I gave you this, I gave you that. Yeah, but you know, my rent is rent due. I gotta eat. I ain't got no gas for the car. I've been praying to you. You ain't do nothing. Well, your faith got to be strong. I said, well, dude, I'm past faith. I'm on the street. You hear me? How much faith do I need? You feel me? But this is what happens when you follow another person's culture. It's alien culture. It doesn't work for you. But it'll work for you if you sell your own people out. But then in order for you to do that, you have to sell your soul. And once you sell your soul, you'll be soulless. Like who? The white man. You feel me? So like she was saying earlier, the music industry is the reason how we lose our soul. Because industry deals with what? Production. Production is what? Produce. And what they call the person who produces the music for the industry. Exactly. So he has a product. So what happened is this, like, look, I gotta take these guys' soul. So I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone, but it costs money. So what can we do to take their souls at a low cost? Okay, let's get rid of the bands. Because like he was saying earlier, the sound tones have been changed. So the best way to get rid of because bands cost money. You gotta pay for the bands in the studio, then you gotta pay for bands on the road. That's more than what you're getting paid in the show. So it cuts into your budget and the record company budget. So they had to come up with when synthetic music is cheap, it don't cost no money, and it's a one-man band. So you get one producer to do all the beats. He's the trumpet player, the bass player, the drummer, the keyboardist on a keyboard or a drum machine, you hear me? Or he samples, you hear me? So now he created synthetic music where it destroys your soul and it's cost effective. You feel me? So this is what happens in the industry. They gave you a cheap product and you fell in love with it over the duration of time. If you was to take that same music and try about 20 years ago, you're like, oh, this stuff is crap. But you have been used to it and you don't realize that you're listening to Caucasian music. Because back in the 80s, this was the 80s music. How we know that? Because we lived in the 80s. We heard it. We remember when Trans Euro Express came in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now the songs that Rihanna, Chris Brown, Estelle, Nicki Minaj, they all doing the same music. Lil Wayne, they all doing the same music. But they had to take out certain rappers out the game. They had to take out Common. They gave him a movie deal. He doesn't really do music no more because Common is too conscious. See, what happens is you kill a conscious rapper, he becomes a martyr. So they can't kill him. So they can't give him a better record deal because he's not going to sell out musically, right? So what they do is, okay, we'll give him a career in the movies so we can distract him. So they signed Common to give music with Kanye West, and he goes do a couple movies. And now they've broken down physically and mentally and energy-wise. His ether has been lessened. Now he's able to come out with whack music. You don't call it whack because you got used to it. Same thing with, who's the other guy that did? Ice Cube. Ice Cube came, as he left NWA, came a straight racist. You know what I'm saying? He was actually putting out songs like kill a white man, white woman is a B-I-T-C-A, you know, and so on. So they couldn't martyr. The more they try to stop Ice Cube, the more the following will be, oh, they're trying to silence Cube because he's speaking the truth. So what they did is they gave him a movie career. Mos Def, same thing. They couldn't silence his music, so they gave him a successful movie career. Look at all your rappers that has such things. Latifah, same thing. She was a conscious rapper. Now she's one of the biggest black entertainers in the movie industry. So all your favorite rappers, and these are backpackers. These are not like, you know, MC Hammer, you know, Jay-Z, LL Cool J. You feel me? These are your underground rappers that was conscious, and they gave them a movie career. They couldn't do it to Public Enemy because it was too conscious, like you couldn't do it. So what they do, they go to the weakest member, which is Flavor Flav, but he's already a clown. He was a clown from day one, so they already knew it's not gonna really hurt Public Enemy. You feel me? Because he was already a clown. But he actually set up the reality TV dating thing, and not everybody wants to do it. Doing it for Love Ray J, Brett Michaels, and so on. You feel me? So this is the same thing. I'm trying, you know, the production, and God needs production. He needs to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Because like he was saying earlier, these gods ain't the same God of our ancestors. These gods like to eat. They eat humans. If you look at any ancient stories in ancient times, these gods were blood gods. You feel me? That's why these gods always ask for flesh sacrifices. Now it's kind of hard to believe because you was raised a Christian, right? You hear me? But you got to remember that you're still reading their version of your book. So when you read your version, you actually see who the real gods were. Not their gods, because their gods eat humans. Our gods don't. I mean, it's hard for y'all to accept, but you got to deal with reality. You are not practicing an African culture or spirituality or religion. You're practicing other people's religion. Okay, watch this. When I say Hinduism, tell me where does Hinduism located geographically? Can anybody say that? India. Who lives in India?
India.
So that's their culture, that's their religion. Yeah. Now if I say Islam, can you give me a geographical area?
Middle East.
Okay, Saudi Arabia, right? Okay, when I say Christos, or Jesus Christos, what would I say? Huh? Greek or what? Rome, right?
Rome.
Right? Okay, now watch this. Every time I mention a different culture, it goes to a different geographical area. Do the black man with nappy hair live in India?
No.
In ancient times?
No.
Does the black man with nappy hair live in Rome or Greece or England in ancient times?
No.
Does the black man with woolly nappy hair live in Saudi Arabia in ancient times? Why? Okay, so here's the question. Tell me what the African religion is.
Ancestral worship.
No, I understand we can say that, but what is the title?
Animism.
I hear you, but that's a European term, right?
Yeah.
For to describe our way of life. That's the closest they can describe our way of life.
I don't think
So
they have a term for it.
that's what I'm trying. Exactly.
You know what I'm
There's
saying?
no term for it because there's no African religion. But somebody came into Africa and studied our culture and went out of Africa and created a religion from it. But it has nothing to do with you. You feel me? That's like me taking out Michael Jackson and saying that that's Chris Brown, or Bobby Brown, or James Brown. You feel me? But you're not, you know who the real Mike is. But somebody will take that and say, I'm gonna make my own version. Who was the white version of Michael Jackson for 2013?
Timberlake. His name,
Justin Timberlake, exactly. And who was the Michael Jackson of 1980? George Michaels.
Oh, man. It's funny you said that.
And who was the Michael Jackson for the 90s? Who was the big one? Huh? No, I'm talking about for the white man.
Oh.
Who was the big white artist in the 90s? Because Justin Timberlake was for the 2000s.
Yeah, I don't know that.
It was George McKnight from Backstreet Boys when he broke off solo. He was supposed to be the next big thing, but it didn't pop off. Because Michael Jackson came out of retirement and came out with the Invincible album. Because Michael Jackson was kind of dormant for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So what happened is they always got to create. Because back in the, okay, who was the Michael Jackson for the 70s? Exactly. And the Osmond family was the white version of the Jackson 5s.
Sure was.
You know what I'm saying? So what happens is they create their versions. Everybody know back in the 50s and 40s and early 60s, Pat Boone was ripping off all the black artists.
So was Elvis Presley.
Yeah, but Pat Boone was worse with it. Elvis Presley was getting a black, I think he was named Robert Tidwell to write his songs for him. You know what I'm saying? But Pat Boone was just literally jacking you. You know what I'm saying? If you came out with a Thriller, he'll come out with Thriller. You came out with We Are the World, he come out with We Are the World. You feel me? And what happened is nobody black could do nothing about it because you couldn't copyright your songs back then. So Pat Boone was just straight ripping off all the artists and the Beach Boys. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with thieves in the temple. Like Prince said, you know, some thieves in the temple. They go in the temple, learn what they gotta learn, and then steal it, and then go create their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then they give you a God concept, and you say, oh, I feel the Holy Ghost, and Jesus loved me, and if you don't accept Christ, you're going to hell and you're going to burn forever. You take a match and put it on your hand like that. How long can you hold that match for on your hand?
2 seconds.
Imagine you burning somebody all over their body forever. That is cruel. But this is what's up with God and barbecues? I'm just trying to figure it out. He want to burn you for sacrifice, like burn you, cut you, sacrifice, and if you don't listen to him, he'll burn you forever. So it's like, what's up with God and fire?
Yeah.
I mean, he said fire is so bad, but God uses it a lot.
Like the devil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is that which one is God and which one is devil? Which one is bad? Which one is good? So, you know, that's when you ask about the God and the devil thing, right? The devil will be anything that goes against your nature, right? Because if you did something that people didn't like, they say, oh, you're a devil. Oh, so because I gave y'all free chicken? Now, if I gave a whole bunch of Muslim pork, they would say, you're the devil, right? But we'll say the Muslim was starving, and they ain't eating weeks. Would they eat that pork? Yeah, they would eat it. The Quran said you can eat pork.
Hot sauce.
The Quran said you can eat pork. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Where did it say that?
It does. As a former Muslim, it said in the Quran that if you're starving and near to death, you can eat pork.
Oh, okay.
That still means you can eat pork. So it means you can actually starve yourself to death purposely and eat pork. It didn't say circumstance.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, this is the mentality, and this is what we're dealing with. So that the devil concept was created so you could worship the devil. Did anybody understand that? Raise their hand. What happened? Do you understand that? Anybody that? I'm asking you. Yeah. Do you understand what I just said? The devil, God created the devil so you can worship the devil. Meaning that who would worship the devil in here? Raise their hand. Who would worship the devil in here? Raise their hand. Now, who would worship God? Raise their hand. You know what I'm saying? As a religious person, right? What happened is this. When they created the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah, they said, how can I get these guys to get their soul to me willingly? So I'll make evil fair seeming, right? and make good look bad. But I'll have to create a stream to make you run to me and willfully come to me. Because I can't force you. So what I do is I create a devil of myself. I make him like, okay, I like sacrifices. I like to smell flesh. And if I told people that, they probably think I'm the devil anyway. So what I do is I create another version of myself, but a little bit more extreme. He does it in the open. I do it behind closed doors. I do it in the name of God. He does it in the name of Satan. You hear me? I kill animals, but he'll kill animals and he'll put the blood on his body. I eat flesh and I drink blood, but I use it as symbolism while he does it actually. You feel me? I'll make peaceful music that destroys your soul. And he'll make the same music but more destructive and more irritating to destroy your soul. You hear me? It's about the packaging. They call it gospel. And those tones mess you up even worse than the same music in the industry, because those tones throw you up, but it's so melodic. And so, gee, and then it can still get you. You hear me? But it's, you know, but then I had to make this over here so extreme, like, that's too much. They doing too much. I'm gonna go over here, a little bit more smoother, but it's still messing you up. So he created a extreme version of himself, but he changed the names around. I'm God,